For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Social media addicted. You know you are. And I'm going to be talking about you for the next 30 minutes. It starts on The Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
JB here on The Scribble. Thank you so much again for joining us today. I've made no bones about it on this show and, well, and in the newspaper, on the radio, all the other platforms that I have. But I have absolutely no interest in social media, okay? And that's just because, I think for me, I've 20 years in broadcasting and in publishing, right, as a newspaper columnist. So it's sort of like a one-way platform, right? Like I have my opinion, I can blast it out to you, and it's kind of where we left things, right? Like, yeah, you can call into the radio show, you can write to the newspaper, but in all honesty, that never really reached me, so I was always kind of just fine with it. And I had no interest in social media. Now, everybody was, this whole concept of having a platform and being able to show people what you're doing or tell people about what you're doing, obviously, was something that nobody had ever experienced before. But for people like us who are in the media, that was kind of like, whatever, it's nothing new, right? So I never really got into the whole social media thing. Even though I did have a very exciting life in terms of, red carpet events and travel shows that we were producing and just, all the other crap that I was doing. I can't think of anything. But it was, a good 15 years on our syndicated radio show where, celebrity guests and I had best-selling books, so book signings and all that other stuff. And I used it as a promotional channel, right, for our company's products and different platforms, our different properties that we had. So a syndicated radio show, a podcast, a book, a newspaper column, a website, whatever it was. But I never really made it about me. Like, even when I was on the radio show, it was like I wasn't the star. It wasn't about what I did last weekend. It wasn't about anything like that. It was always like the pop culture stuff, the entertainment news, talking about whatever was going on in that world. But I never opened up about my family. I mean, I'd talk about my dogs because they ended up sort of becoming characters on the radio shows after a certain point. But other than that, I never talked about my brothers. I never talked about my parents. I never talked about my cousins. I just never did that because I sort of felt like this is my life that's in the public eye or my life. They don't have the opportunity to like defend themselves or speak their side or whatever. Not that I was trash talking anybody until now, but that's just kind of how it was. So for people to then develop their own social media page and be able to post all their photos, whatever. It's like, well, we've got a radio show website that does that. So I don't, I don't, that's not new to me. And I had no interest in doing it. So of course it was something that we ended up doing just because that's what you do in media, right? I mean, we're doing a travel program. Obviously a social media page is an ideal platform to show the stuff that you're doing. But it wasn't me sitting there and posting the stuff because I just couldn't care less. So I'm fascinated now, though, when I see all these people who do I'm laughing because I just find it so ridiculous. The people who do the big announcement that they're taking a break from social media, I'm sure you've seen these people where it's I need a mental break. I need to unplug. I need to, step aside. And sometimes you'll see celebrities have done it when they were talked about like shutting down their Twitter page or whatever it was when Elon took over. And they were ridiculed ridiculed and mocked by people who would say, like, this isn't the airport, no need to announce your departures, is the line that I saw quite frequently. But obviously, if it's your own personal social media page, it's going to be like your friends or whoever. So rarely do they make those kinds of comments, though you will see the odd troll, come on from time to time and go like, But here's the thing with that, is I have this belief, and I'm tempted to, again, I don't pay much, I'm tempted to take screenshots and then look a week later and see if that person is still on. But again, I just see it in passing and I'm like, oh, whatever, here's another person who's, crying about needing a break from it. But just do it, right? Like if that's your only means of communication, there's nobody in my life, there's nobody that my only, somebody that means something to me, that is not our only, we either text or we video chat or we meet in person or whatever. I don't have anybody in my life who my only source of communication is a social media page. Nobody, because that's not the kind of relationship that I have with people. So I don't have to do this big announcement. And even then, how is this, it's attention seeking, obviously, right? Because it's I need a break, whatever. But you're the one doing it to yourself, though. If it's not part of your business, even if it was part of my business, and I was able to go and say, got no interest in it, let it be out there, let it happen. I don't have to do it. I don't have to pay attention to it. Whatever. If you don't want the nasty comments, then don't allow comments. If you're sick of seeing all the negative news or whatever, don't look at it. It's simple. So anyway, I'm tempted to, take screenshots of those people and then a week later just to kind of go and see. And you know how it'll show you the green dot if they're online? I almost kind of want to creep them and stalk them and be like, it's like I thought he was going away. I thought she was disappearing. Why is that little green dot there? It means that she's online. So maybe she's not posting then for the week or whatever it was. But she's going to keep scrolling. She's just going to keep, because she can't get away from it. You can't get away. If it's become that much of a part of your life, if it's that much a part of your day or whatever, you're not just stopping like that. I guarantee you're not. You're not. And I've said the same thing about people who, when they go on vacation or whatever, was it really a vacation if you didn't post a picture from on the plane or by the pool? Or I laugh at the people when I see somebody who's standing on the beach and they post a picture of them clutching their phone. I just go oh, wow. Even in nature, even on the beach, it's a beautiful day. Enjoy the water, enjoy the sun. You're clutching your phone as you're standing in the water or with your feet in the water or whatever. That. Oh, I do. I laugh at people like that. Definitely, there's been trips where my husband and I mean, we travel quite a bit actually. There can be a trip where we take absolutely zero photos. Zero. We're not taking pictures of our food. We're not taking pictures. And we stay in some of the most, we've got money. So we are staying in, some great places. But it's the moment for the two of us. I have no, people who know me know that I have money. So I don't have anything, to prove to them. But I just, so I'm having fun. Okay. Why do I need to show everybody that I'm having fun? It's like the people who post all these things about that love is so whatever, love is the best thing. I think that you don't have love is why I think that you're posting that. I think that you want people to think that you have love or that you're, stable in your emotions. Because I'm in love, but I don't need to be posting these words of love to show that I'm in love because I'm living the love. I have it. I don't need to, why would I, right? Why would I, that's when people post it, parenting is the most awesome and most beautiful. I'm thinking that you actually don't feel that way. So on social media, we have these people who do the big announcements that they're leaving. We know they're not. They're going to be just watching from the sidelines. They might not be posting, but they're still going to be looking. And it's become an announcement. There's an announcement that I'm leaving social media because people are going to worry. They're going to panic. They're going to absolutely freak out. Where did he go? Where did she go? Was it? Well, text me. Or if you were that important, I would have told you I'm going on vacation or I'm whatever I'm doing. But the fact that we need to give a status update just on something like that is very bizarre to me. It's very strange. And I've never understood it. I won't, and I refuse to to accept or understand it. I understand it. It's you want attention. That's what it is. At the end of the day, you want to do this big, I'm taking a break, whatever, because you want people to either, oh, well, just get better, oh, you can't wait to see you again, or have a good, you take care of yourself, whatever. No, then you would just do it if it meant that. Like, it's weird. I don't know. So yes, I'm tempted to then go like a day later, or even just message that I should make one of those like fake accounts and just go and say, "Hi, I got the screenshot, and I see that you're online right now. So I'm just wondering, it didn't take your break. Your break didn't take." But now let me just go on to this thing about needing a mental break from social media. Okay, I'll do that after the. Speaking of break, I'll do that after the break. They're telling me. We'll be right back on the Scribble.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
JB here on the Scribble. So let me just address the whole people needing a mental break or a mental health break, whatever you want to call it, from social media. Because you're doing it to yourself, as I mentioned earlier. And so I understand that people have, depression or anxiety and they feel shitty about their situation in life, whether that's money, whether that's, relationship or career or health or whatever. I get it. I am not downplaying the seriousness of depression, okay? So let me just make that absolutely clear. And I've got my serious voice on now, so I'm not being sarcastic. I went through depression in my 20s. I get it. I was never suicidal. I was never like that. But I get that, people can be pushed to that point. I get it. Okay. So this is now where I'm going to now I'm bringing out the SmackDown talk here. Okay. So there's all these stories that I see. I think it's on 2Fab, which, of course, it's like that's a branch of TMZ, which their typos just annoy the piss out of me. But you're forever seeing these stories about influencers, quote unquote influencers, who commit suicide. And then at the end of the story, there's always if you or somebody call da-da-da-da for support. We're seeing it a lot. And that's a problem. Of course it is. But there was a story the other day. Well, again, it's every couple days, so I don't even need to give specifics. But bottom line is, an influencer killed herself. And her husband had then come out into the media and said, she was being harassed and she was being bullied and da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da. And I sit there going, I would expect a grown adult. Gender, it doesn't even matter the gender, okay? Just an adult. But in this instance, she was a woman, so I'm just going to say that, okay? I'm not being sexist. She was a woman, okay? So I would sit there in her situation and go, just tune it out. Like, turn off the comments. Turn off the DMs then. And only have, just that, like I said earlier, about just have the people who mean something to you, they text you, they have your phone number, they reach out, they do video chats, whatever it is. Why do you feel that you need to open it up to everybody in the world to have their say, to, chime in, to bash you, to whatever? Shut it down. Shut it down. Why subject yourself to it? But there's just that need of like putting it all out there and I sit there and go, early on in my relationship, I was in the relationship for, I don't even know how many years, because I wasn't on Instagram. They're saying, Bonnie, what is it? Say it again? Because they really had, I was on the radio. That's how I met my husband. He was listening to the radio show from Brazil. And I wasn't on Instagram, and for years they were pushing me here to have an Instagram page because we had our own websites where we would post the photos from events and things, but we weren't relying on somebody else's platform to do it because I don't know anything about Instagram. So what if it goes under, and what if all of a sudden it folds and now we don't have this content anymore? This way, it's on our website, it's there, it's on our platform, we control it, we have... So they made me an Instagram account. I was already in the relationship for who knows how long. And I don't even think that I referenced my husband for several years. And it wasn't even a matter of being in the closet, because obviously I wasn't. But I never, like I said at the beginning, I never posted about my family. I just didn't. I never talked about a man in my life. I never talked about dating. I never talked about, I just didn't do that. And so, he's a big, tattooed, tanned Brazilian fitness model, very, attractive guy, very good looking. I'm the, scrawny, pale, white Canadian dude. And, physically, I would not be somebody that you would see a person like that. Now I'm talking in generalizations, right? Somebody like that being interested in me, because I never understood that either. When people would say that, like, I'm lucky. Oh my God, you're so lucky, when they would see a picture of him or of us together. And I'm thinking, like, is that an insult or is that a compliment? Right? Like, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I have somebody that looks like him. Okay. Or how about he's lucky to have somebody as successful and as talented as me. Right? I mean, whatever. I'm not easily offended by things, but I just, like, I would get things like that, right? Or you mismatch, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, it works for us, so I don't care. And that was the same thing, like I said at the top of the show, with my newspaper column or my book or whatever. I mean, people would, in the comments section on the newspaper website, I wouldn't even read it because I didn't care. I was getting paid to have the opinion. I would put my opinion out there. Obviously, people are going to disagree. If they want to disagree unprofessionally and get personal and, take digs at me or whatever. Because when you're doing something like that, like you lose all credibility with me, right? Like if you come at me like insulting me or saying I'm stupid, then I already don't, like, there's just no, what you're saying has no weight to it, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like when you start name calling me, well, now I don't even want to, like, obviously I'm not going to read your opinion because you're not even commenting on if you want to challenge my opinion, that's something different, right? You do it in a, professional way. But, oh, you're an asshole, you fuckhole, you stupid idiot. Yeah, now I'm really going to take you seriously, right? So going back to these influencers who basically, their self-esteem comes from every time they see how many likes they get, or every comment, or everybody who kisses their ass and says, oh my God, you're gorgeous. Oh my God, I love your hair. Oh my God, I love that outfit. And, you have that dependence on this, like, world of strangers, for the most part, is what it is, right? I mean, if I look at my Instagram or my Twitter, how many of those people do I actually know or have met in person? A very small percentage, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many followers I have, but let's say, well, what is Twitter? 10,000, I think, followers, whatever. So in terms of Twitter, I would maybe actually know less than 50, 50. Because, I mean, there's some, a bunch of, like, celebrities or whatever that were on the radio with me, and then some, I guess, family members or colleagues or whoever it was. But yeah, I mean, so if I don't know you, why would I give two shits what you think about me? I mean, at the end of the day, why would I care what you think about my relationship? You've never met me. You see the pictures of this, hot Brazilian guy and tiny little me. Okay, but so that's your jealousy then. Like the fact that you need to, throw an insult or whatever. I mean, that doesn't, why, okay, so you're going to try to insult me with my happy marriage and my lots of money and my, big houses that we own and whatever. Like that doesn't, okay, think what you want. It doesn't, and we have that from time to time where, because we own a couple of e-commerce stores as well, and from time to time maybe will be posted by one of the teams, and just like some of the comment, like, oh, did you or they'll apparently even tell me that there's comments on my Instagram page when something is posted, and I'm just like, I don't lose sleep. I don't care. I really have no interest in it. I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit. Do not. And it's not even just me saying that. I truly don't. Like, there could be right now dozens of hateful comments on my Instagram or my Twitter or whatever, and I've carried on with my day. It's not bothering me one bit. Not bothering me one bit. It's not. And so it's sad to see, an influencer just be so, because, and again, maybe part of it is they're presenting this happy, amazing life, and then the reality sets in though. Right? The reality sets in and go, yeah, my life isn't really as great as I'm portraying it to be. And that is also an issue too. But the fact that, again, going back to this influencer, because, she was being bullied according to her husband, but then why didn't she stop it? Now, again, before anybody goes and says you're blaming the victim here, that is not what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying these social media platforms have the functionality where you can block somebody, right? You can turn off comments. You can do that. Or just, if you're posting a photo or whatever it is, go through your actual phone, not app. Is that what do you know what I'm saying? Where you can bring up the photo and then you can click share, pick whichever app, Instagram, and then just upload it. So you don't even have to actually go through the program to see your feed or the comments or whatever. Just do it in a roundabout way. Go from the actual photo, click Instagram, post, type whatever it is that you're doing, hit post, and then close it. Don't even look at it. Or disable comments altogether. So, why you're putting yourself through that, I don't know. Now, it's different, I guess, obviously, if you're, running a business or whatever it is, and it's customer feedback. But if that's how your customers are talking to you, maybe your business isn't doing all that well. But again, it goes back to that thing about everybody feels that just because they have a camera and everybody, I can't tell you how many times when I open, when somebody adds you on Facebook and you get that notification, it asks you if you want to accept the friendship or whatever the thing says. I can't remember the wording. How many times have I looked at somebody's page and I see that their job is content creator and I just go, ugh. How many times can we get that as a sound effect? I want to use that next time. Right? My cousin is one of those people. She's got, well, can I get personal on this? Sure, whatever. She's got 5 kids, all under the age of 10, but she's a content creator. Now, she's exploiting the shit out of the kids because that's all the posts ever are. So when you do something like that, I hope you're making a shit ton of money. I hope, and I hope at the end of the day, you're kind of yeah, I had to show off my kids and exploit my kids. And if that's why you're having kids, then that's even worse. But, we've heard about stories like that, right? Where there was an influencer, I'm doing it in quotation marks, an influencer couple that was either, were they adopting or they were doing something? And then it was basically for social media content because, it ended up either following through or they ended up saying no, they canceled it because they couldn't get some kind of a sponsorship or whatever for it. I was just wow. That's the reality though. You see these, blogger moms, which was one thing to be a blogger mom and, write product reviews about children's stuff, clothing or what have you. But you're turning it into, a family business with the kids dancing around like monkeys and the husband doing some kind of stupid dance. And I just kind of sit there and go, this is all going to end at some point though, because there's no quote unquote influencer or content creator that has the longevity of, let's say, a Kardashian. Think about when I was doing my top 40 show or any TV show, you eventually run out of storylines. You eventually run out of content. Nothing can last for, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, every sitcom eventually runs out because at some point the writers are like, wow, after 5 years, after 7 years, after 9 years, we've kind of like, done everything. And so it has to come to an end. And that's fine. So for these, I hope that you're either saving up all the money that you're making from these stupid videos and dancing around and TikToks and whatever, right? Like, I mean, how many people were like shitting their pants because there was going to be that TikTok ban? Was that earlier this year? And people are like, oh, that's how I make money. Well, but you know what? That's the problem though, when you rely on an outside platform for your only source of income. Going back to what I said about why I never had Instagram. We've got our own website. If any of these little shoebox companies that you are still going to post all your stuff on now, they go under or they shut you down, now you're starting from scratch. And that's how I've always been about our content. It's ours. It's on our platform. We own it. We're hosting it. And, as I said, we have to jump on the bandwagon just because it was expected that you would have a Facebook page or a Twitter account or whatever it was, given this industry. But we're in the legitimate media industry. So, yes, we're not jumping onto the social media posting because everybody's doing it. We're doing it because it's expected of us in this business. Those are different things. And so going back to what I said about just because you have a phone doesn't mean that you have to be an influencer. Doesn't mean that you have to be a content creator. Doesn't mean you have to take a picture of every fucking thing that you eat. You don't. You don't have to. And if people are liking it, and that's just encouraging you to do it again and again and again. But if you're not making money from it, if you're not monetizing it, big money from it, by the way, if you're not making big money from it, then it's a hobby and quite likely an addiction. That's going to fuck with your mental health. And then you're going to be having to post this big farewell because you're taking a break, even though you're not. And then, like I said, in those worst case scenarios, you're offing yourself because it just became too much. But again, it could have been stopped much earlier on. If the husband knows that she's being bullied and whatever, she's a glutton for punishment. I mean, she can walk away from it. She can shut it down. If it is part of her business, get somebody else to take care of it then. Somebody else can do your social media. If you're that successful and you got the money coming in, you can shoot a couple dollars to somebody to do the social media for you. You can. I have no issue. I mean, as long as it's somebody that I trust. And again, in a broadcast company, we have certain ways that things are written and we've got styles for our different platforms that obviously, somebody would have to follow that. We would never just have, oh, well, we saw you on Craigslist as a content creator, so why don't you come? No, we would never do that. Somebody needs to be an actual trained writer and understand our style guide and the, way that we write things and how we do things, what we respond to, what we don't respond to, but never, we don't do the fucking TikTok dancing shit and stuff like that. No. But, if I have no interest in it and I've got the money, then I'm going to pay somebody to do it. And if it's hateful comments or whatever, well, then shut it down. Don't allow comments. That's not going to affect your business, right? Or you just allow comments from the people like that, or you can have, what are they? Not a trusted friends list. I don't remember what it's called, but only certain people can comment, right, on your posts or whatever it is. But it's incredibly sad going back to that somebody feels the need that social media was too much for them, but didn't do something to remove themselves from that situation. They felt that it's so encroaching on my life and my well-being or whatever that the only outcome is let me just end things. That's a problem. That's it's sad, and I mean sad, emotionally sad. I'm not saying it's pathetic. I'm not saying that at all. But when it comes to that, it's a you have to look up the definition of addiction, right, and kind of go and say, is it an addiction? When I see people walking down the street, clutching their phone, actually this happened the other day. We were walking. I was with one of the coffee guys. We were walking in West Hollywood. We were walking the dogs, and the rule when we walk our dogs is that if you're by yourself, whatever, listen to a podcast, whatever, have your headphones, but you are not staring at your phone. It's that walk with the dogs is about walking with the dogs. So you're either paying attention to them, you're talking to them, you're, whatever, you're focused on them, but that's your 1 hour to just, you're not clutching your phone. So we were walking. Who was it with? Was I with Drew? I think it was with Drew. There was a woman who was watering her grass, which in California, you gotta be, you're not always allowed to do that just because of the water thing, but She was standing there watering her grass. She was holding her phone sideways, and she was watching some kind of a video. She couldn't even pull herself away from her phone for however long it takes you to just sprinkle some, water on your grass. She was holding her phone to water the grass, people. I said, I'm like, I can't believe that's, wow. You can't even, what is it, 10 minutes to water the grass? Maybe? I don't know. I don't water, we have somebody that does that kind of stuff for it, but I'm just thinking, I'm holding a hose. I'm thinking about watching her. So in the time that we passed her, which, maybe 30 seconds from the time that we saw her when we rounded the corner to, or maybe a minute or so until we passed, and I didn't want to keep looking back, but, what does watering grass take you? It was watering the front lawn. We all have, big pools and stuff in our backyard, so it's not like she was having a ton of grass in the back. And I was like, wow, she couldn't even put down her phone for maybe 10 minutes. And the fact that it was that task, that chore was so boring that she needed to have a distraction by way of her phone. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words even now just repeating it. I don't know. So send me an email. That's not social media. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Have you ever taken a break? I'm doing air quotes. You can't see it. Have you taken a break from social media? How long was it? Did it last? Have you gone back since? I'm guessing you have. live@jbonair.com. We're out of time. All right, I will talk to you next week on The Scribble. My name is Jeremy Bradley. Bye-bye for now.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up The Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter @The Scribble Show and @thescribbleshow.com. Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter @thescribbleshow. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real